thank you all for being here today. And this is the Humble Bizcom, so welcome, and I'm glad you all are here with us. This is presented by the Partnership Lake Houston, which all of you, I'm sure all of you are members, and if not, see somebody down here. There's Kyle, you can see him about joining if you're not a member already, or if your company's not a member. I'm Kyle Chandler, and I am owner of Luncheon Press in Humble. And just to let you know, if you know where we have been in downtown Humble for since the 80s, I don't remember the exact year, we have just recently moved, and I was told I had to tell you all this, that we moved in with DNA Studios. A little bit closer here. Okay. All right. Better? Okay. Thank you. I have such a loud voice. I don't want to scream at you. Anyway, come see us at DNA Studios real soon. And we're really glad that you have chosen to be with us here today. I know your time is valuable, so we're going to try to keep this to our 1 hour. And we look forward to having all of these wonderful speakers. Let me begin with telling you who our speakers are today and the topics that they will be covering. Dr. Terry Osborne is principal of Humble High School, and we're anxious to hear about all the new things going on here. And we thank her for allowing us to come into her new auditorium. And she told me this morning this is the first public event in the new auditorium. Thank you. Michelle Scott, who's principal of the Gasconzo Early College High School. Jennifer Layden, who is regional sales manager of Calera, who is a new industry in our area. We're excited to hear about that. Jennifer Wooden, director of Humble Civic Center. Jason Stubbe, city manager of Humble. And finally, we'll hear from Kyle Sheldon, who is the new executive vice president of Partnership Lake Houston. And as always, we cannot present these kinds of events without having sponsors. And our Humble Bizcom sponsors are co-presenting sponsors: Memorial Herman Northeast, Rosewood Funeral Homes, gold sponsors: Chick-fil-A, Wilson at Beltway 8, Whataburger, silver sponsor, Infomart. So if your business is interested in being a sponsor for any of the events that the partnership has, please contact somebody there. They will be happy to sign you up. Your sponsorship funds support the efforts of Partnership Lake Houston, which enables us to help businesses succeed. Now more than ever, small businesses need the help, resources, and guidance the partnership provides. Thank you to the partnership for a lot of help in the past couple of years especially. Our first speaker is Dr. Terry Osborne, Humble High School. And she is going to give us an update on the campus.
Good morning, everyone. As Connie mentioned, I'm Dr. Terry Osborne. I have the privilege of serving as the principal of the Humble High School, the original high school in the district. I always have to say that. Thank you for joining us. And as she mentioned as well, this is the first public community event in our brand new Performing Arts Center. This was brought to us by the 2018 bond, so this is truly a manifestation of your community support. And we're, of course, really excited because we have a phase 2 and phase 3 coming from the high school now that the 2022 bond has passed. I'm going to highlight a few things that have occurred over the course of our 21-22 school year, and I'm going to thematically do it around our 2 hashtags. The first one is Made for More. When we returned to school this year, many students, probably about half, had not been in school in person in about 18 months. So when we came back to school, it was very important to us to make sure that we had reignited that idea that students are made for more. They have unique purpose, they have distinct strengths. And the place where you grow those things is at school. That is our job, to highlight those strengths. One of the first orders of business was, of course, embracing construction. Y'all pulled up, you saw the gym, you saw the front that used to be. And getting kids and our staff to really embrace that as metaphoric for what happens in high school and what happens in life. Sometimes it's dusty, sometimes it's rocky, it is not perfect, sometimes it's not great at all being under construction. But it really was thematic for us in embracing the made for more mentality. And as the safety manager of the construction site, I have to say to everyone, if the fire alarm goes off, because it's possible, I'm going to go that direction to the fire panel, and then you lovely folks are going to exit out stage left to the parking lot behind us. Just have to get us ready that way. But in reality, and in all seriousness, we started the year strong and we are finishing strong. We've had an incredible year with reigniting student involvement, bringing back the life to the school, getting kids back in sports and games not being canceled, celebrating students and making sure that they belong to something. That has been really important to us, belonging as a theme for our culture at our school. We also wanted to make sure we magnified our restorative practices program. One of the things that we realized very early on when the students returned to school is they had a significant amount of trauma. Trauma that existed before the pandemic, trauma that existed and was magnified during the pandemic, and then traumas just from daily adolescence. We're a restorative practices school, and what that means is we look for opportunities to keep kids on campus, if at all possible, in the right decision, if they make bad decisions, as opposed to automatic suspension. Let's help students gain those coping skills and interpersonal relationships that help them navigate through dialogue versus other poor choices. I am known to make announcements on the PA, and sometimes they're pretty funny. And I tell the students, please self-report your drama, because we have the systems to support you in navigating those types of conflicts. One of the things that we did this year was take restorative practices to the next level, and that was through peer mediators. We have about 15 students that are student leaders in mediating conflict between other students. What you see on the bottom left picture is a picture of our peer mediator group working with our AV team, because we have audio video technology on campus, and they were working to create a promo video for our course selection process so that they could get more students into peer mediation. I'm really proud to say that next year we'll have over 50 peer mediators, so we'll continue that restorative practices process. That's all a part of our personalized learning experiences and personalized counseling, and we have a lot of different personalized learning opportunities for students on campus. While the theme was made for more, we also recognize students don't know what that looks like sometimes, or how to go about getting there. One of our initiatives in the district has been personalized counseling. We have 2,800 students and 10 counselors. Our counselors met with every student twice this semester. One, to touch base and get to know them, and then second, to help them select the courses that will ensure that they graduate and understand their pathway after graduation. So it was really a big year for us around personalized learning. We were able to bring back field trips. Field trips stopped, and they were important. Thermodynamics and going to iFly, that's a big deal for a student that's really needing to understand and embrace the critiques. We were also able to bring back practicums, so students went to their work-based learning sites with our community partners, like the architecture firm on there. And then we also were able to bring back college visits, and not just the universities. Yes, there's Rice and University of Houston and SFA and all of those big schools that are around us and nearby, but also vocational schools and trade schools, because everybody needs to have an opportunity to have a living wage after high school, and it looks different. So we did our course fairs, we did college fairs, HBCUs, just exposing students as much as possible to what is real can be and will be real for them. Next slide, please. Our hashtag was everyday excellence. So we're made for more and we're shooting for it. We have those goals out there, but it doesn't just poof and happen. We know that as adults. Sometimes kids lose sight of the choices along the way or the trajectory. So emphasizing for our students that Getting to the goals is an attempt on a daily basis. That means daily excellence, daily good decision making. And for us as the primary feeder pattern in the city of Humble, we took that personally and included our feeder pattern. So that display of excellence was at our elementary schools, opening doors in the car rider line, making sure we went back to our giving projects at Thanksgiving and Christmas, doing a little bit of everything, including teaching water safety with the YMCA here in our natatorium, but doing it so kids are excited about being a Wildcat, because there's so much to come at Humble High School and there's so much to be proud of. We also celebrated, of course, the student success that occurred over the course of the year. We've had quarterly honor nights for our students based on grades. We have had sweepstakes in band, choir, and orchestra. We sent students to state in wrestling. We sent a student to state running the 400 in boys track and girls track. So we have just been all over the gamut with student success and making sure that we're highlighting it. One of the things that has been personally important for me is making sure that while we're celebrating students, we're honoring the people that pour in. I don't get to be in the classroom every day. I know every moment is teaching, but I am not the teacher. I am not the secretary. So those people are critical to the success of the students. We didn't just do teacher appreciation, which was 2 weeks ago, or Secretary's Day, which was 2 weeks ago. We have done teacher and staff appreciation every single month, all year long. And it's looked different because we know there are small gestures. 1 month, it was the teachers pulled into the parking lot, and there was a Tom's coffee truck. And we had sponsored coffee so that when they got out of the car, there was an extra pep and a smile. So those little things we know make a difference. And one of the things that's been personally important to me is raising up talent. If you're working and pouring in at Humble High School and you have a future after Humble High School, hopefully here, how do we promote that leadership? So this year we were able to send teacher leaders as well as instructional coaches to the Aspiring Principals Conference in Austin. So we have done so much from my perspective, and I hope my staff believes it, to promote success of students and the school community. And then my personal favorite, the true reason that I knew I wanted to be a high school principal was the senior class. It has been a long time since seniors had a real senior year. But the class of 2022 has had all things above and beyond. And we really wanted to make sure that we did it that way this year. They had their senior field trip to Six Flags. Can we go, Miss? Yes, I approve. They had a senior picnic. They do the senior nights for every activity. There's a picture up there of the soccer team honoring their seniors on that last game at Humble High School. It has been all things seniors because they deserve it. And it's a long pathway to graduation. And that's going to be our culminating activity. It'll be on May 27th. I'm so excited about it. I probably will shed real tears because I'm proud of these kids. I'm proud of this school. It is an incredible time to be a Wildcat. Thank you.
Okay, I would like to ask our two co-presenting sponsors, Nikki and Jess, if they'll kind of make their way down here. As I said a few minutes ago, we could not do things like this without great sponsors. And we're going to have a few minutes for our two co-presenting sponsors to tell us a little bit about their businesses. First, we have Nikki Rue with Memorial Hermann Northeast. And Memorial Hermann Northeast has been caring for families in the Lake Houston, Kingwood area for more than 30 years. And Nikki Rue is the Chief Operating Officer, and she's here to share a little bit about this.
Good morning, everybody. It's so fancy and working. You don't think the academy or something. Okay, so glad to be here. We've been doing quite a bit of celebration as well over the last few weeks. Last week was Hospital Week, National Hospital Week. This week is National Nurses Week. Next week is National EMS Week. So if you see anybody who fits any of those descriptions, just tell them thank you. We've been trying to make sure that not only throughout the year, we show our appreciation, but also just some special things in the last couple of weeks and next week. So very pleased to be able to continue to serve our community, our growing community. We've had a couple of tough years. We are fortunate to see that COVID is no longer a huge factor in terms of hospital admissions, and while we see pockets of the country, it's moving up higher in terms of the actual rates of infection. That's not translating so much into a lot of hospitalizations, and we're very pleased that that's the case. It's not nearly as deadly it has been in some of the past surges. So excited about that. We do continue to see our community grow, and as a result, we are also making sure that we are expanding services, and actually we are going to be building out another floor in our West Tower. Hopefully this time next year we'll be moved into it, but we're excited about that. It'll offer another 30 beds to serve our community, and we'll be able to provide some higher acuity care as well there. So excited about that. We also have two recent developments as well. We recently opened and had an open house for our Women's Center. So completely renovated, state of the art, everything's new, updated. The rooms are larger with all the RPs, the labor delivery, recovery and postpartum rooms, so you can our moms can go in and deliver and stay there the whole time in nice big spacious rooms. And so excited about that. So certainly another aspect in terms of serving our community. And then last week, actually on Tuesday, we moved into our new endoscopy suite. So completely renovated, 4 very nice, large endoscopy suites and a motility lab, which is a new service that we haven't offered in the past. And so that is a study that will be able to perform studies of movement of the GI tract. So that's really exciting, something that we can offer because we haven't been able to do that in the past. And so the other thing I'll just touch on is we're all just really making sure that as a hospital we're supporting health and screening in our community. We have been and will continue to offer now in our new suite our open access colonoscopy screening. So those of you who are 45 and older who meet criteria, well, you now meet criteria to have your screening exams done, and you can do that without a physician order. So excited about that. If you're interested, I know you probably won't ask me for details later, but the number is 346-323-POBO. So hopefully, if you're interested in that, you can get in. It's easy. The doctors there are wonderful. They're all board certified gastroenterologists. So excited about that, and I appreciate your time.
And now we have with us Mr. Jess Fields Jr. and Rosewood. Most of you know has been around for a long time. They've been serving our community, believe it or not, for 95 years.
Who's in around?
Well, I have almost.
No.
Not right. Jess Fields Jr.
That's not true. Well, I am extremely honored to be the first licensed presenter in this facility. And as you know, my dad likes to often use top 10 lists. So I'm going to read the top 10 things. Just kidding. I saw the hesitation and the panic building. No, I want to thank you guys, of course. We always love, Rosewood loves to sponsor these events. Some of the things that have gone on recently, very exciting. And I think a few of y'all actually have been out and seen this. Rosewood has built a new cremation chapel, which is quite unique. There really is only one like it in the Houston area where it's a specific facility just for cremation funeral services. You may or may not know this, because I usually kind of silly, but I'll actually say something serious. If you have a cremation service, a lot of times there's not a full casket, right? So you have a memorial service. Well, this facility is specifically designed for a memorial service. It's right next to the cremation garden, so you can go from the memorial service out to the cremation garden and have an integrated experience, very similar to a traditional funeral, but with a lot less money, a lot less time, and a lot less difficulty. If you're a cremation family, that's something you want. It's a wonderful product. But as always, Rosewood is thrilled to be a sponsor of the partnership. Thank you guys for being here, and congratulations to our last Stephen facility. Thank you.
Thank
to our sponsors. And next, I believe, Ms. Scott came in, Michelle. Oh, there she is, it's here. Our next speaker for today is Principal Michelle Scott to share with us a campus update from the Bizcom College High School. So please give a warm welcome to Ms. Scott.
Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning still. I'm sorry. I definitely want to share some celebrations with you. At Sconzo Early College High School, we truly believe in our students experiencing a difference. And we do that through our community service and our works within the community. And so I'd like to share with you that as of today, we have 421 students that have participated in a total of over 25,000 hours of community service just this school year. And they have been participating in that community service within schools, businesses, within the school districts itself. And if you're interested in having a possible internship within your business, that's free work. Please just send me an email, and we like to get our students out in the community so they can have some of those real life experiences as they transition through their high school years. On Saturday, May 14th, we will watch 63 of our 83 seniors walk across the Lone Star College Kingwood stage to receive their associate's degree. As you know, these seniors have spent the last 2.5 years in some challenges, and so it's super exciting to see them accomplish that goal. Of those 83 seniors that will graduate, we will have 100% graduation rate is our goal. We'll know in the next week that we're going to reach that goal, which we traditionally do. They have received over $1.4 million in scholarship offers. And we actually had a Houston Rodeo Scholarship winner this year. That young man received $20,000 and a full ride to Texas Tech University. So that's super exciting. As you know, our construction is complete, so we are enjoying our beautiful building and everything that it brings for us. With our seniors graduating on Saturday, we have a unique opportunity to do a senior culture week. And so they're going to have an opportunity to go to some local museums and just experience some things that they may not have had the opportunity to do in the last 2 years. So we're thankful for the community that provides us with that opportunity to have those experiences. So anytime you would like to experience a difference in what schools look like, we invite you to stop by, tour the amazing building, and kind of see what happens with our kids that looks really different and helps them accomplish these goals of attaining an associate's degree. Thank you.
Just hope. Thank you very much. We enjoyed the updates for sure. Now we have a speaker that most of you probably have not met. Jennifer Layton is with Calera. And we really are looking forward to hearing about our new neighbor in the neighborhood. Jennifer.
Sales manager for Calera, which is a vertical farm here in Texas. My intention is to provide you all with a quick overview of Calera and vertical farming and what this billion-dollar industry is providing to Texas and how Calera is poised to become the world leader in vertical farming. Vertical farming is a big business. It is expected to grow to $9.7 billion industry worldwide by 2026, up from $3.1 billion in 2021, according to the researchandmarkets.com. Now, what is vertical farming? Vertical farms grow crops without soil. Crops are stacked in vertical vision is to become a global leader in vertical farming. Our mission is to serve humanity with fresh, safe, sustainable, and affordable food. And our values is to do the right thing while growing the future with this new technology. I would like to talk a little bit more about our vision of becoming a world leader in vertical farming. Calera currently operates farms in Orlando, which is where our headquarters is. Atlanta, Houston is the third farm. We just started operating and started harvesting at the end of October. We had quite a few construction delays, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with what's going on with the supply chain. Denver, we just had our first harvest in Denver this week, so we're like, yay, super excited about that. Next is Seattle, Columbus, St. Paul, and Honolulu. In 2021, Calera acquired a German vertical farm called Endeavor, which gives us a global footprint in Europe, Middle East, and Singapore. In 2020, Calera acquired Vidara. Vidara is a seed company that specializes in seeds that would grow well in a vertical farm environment. Not every type of seed does well in this kind of contained environment. But by acquiring Vidara, very, very smart move on their part because it gives us a leg up on the competition. There's a lot of competition moving into this space as more and more investors realize that we have to do something to help with the supply chain, what's happening in all the areas, what's happening in California and other places in the world. So, Calera is different than traditional farming in a few ways. First of all, it's higher in nutrients than traditional product. All of our plants still have the roots attached. It's a living plant. As soon as you cut the roots off the plant starts to die. I think that probably makes sense to most people. You actually have comparisons done on third parties that show the difference in the nutrients of having the roots on versus off. We grow in a contained environment where all elements are controlled. We have no pests, so there's no need for pesticides or herbicides. We consider ourselves to be better than organic because organic farming still allows up to 36 different types of pesticides and herbicides. The Humble Farm is over 65,000 square feet, which is equivalent to over 5 acres of traditional farmland. One of the reasons Calera chose the site that they did is because their footprint of what they grew works well in an urban environment.
for the last couple of years, I'm going to pretend this is not odd right here. We're thinking about ducking him, but so for the last few years, I've been able to say that we have brought entertainment from around the country. But for 2023, we actually have artists and talent from around the world. And we're still building the audience there. It's really neat that when people are there, they're leaving going, I cannot believe this talent is on the stage right here in the heart of Humboldt. So I don't know how I feel about that. I'm like, you can't believe it's in Humboldt? They just didn't know about it. And so a fun fact, our mayor is here. Mayor Vanderbilt is the name. Fun fact is that he's got really great taste in music. And so a lot of our 2023 artists, even this summer, he's giving me a heads up on some really good artists, and so that's great. Okay, so we can go to the next slide. Before every show at Bender, the Humboldt Museum is open. And so if you guys arrive early, the last show we had quite a few people who went to Cheyenne for dinner and then headed over to the museum and then to the theater, so you can make it a full evening. Next, the first show we have this summer, next slide, is Neal. This is his third time. You can hit that next slide, yeah. This is his third time at the Bender Theater. He fills the house with his energy and consequently fills the house with guests. So he is an amazing artist out of Baton Rouge. I met him years ago on Broadway, and we've remained in touch. And when I didn't have the budget for him, he came. And now that we have the budget for him, he's coming back, and we're excited to have him. He always does a bit of an after party or an after show or whatever over at Mary Oaks Tavern, and so that place is completely packed after. In July, we have a couple of shows, I think. Next slide. Allie Venable, this will be her second time here. We can hardly get her. When we first got her, her manager had sent an email and just said, can you check her out? Well, we get tons of those. And when we did, I was like, oh my gosh, can we get her here like next week? And then when we saw her on stage, she just like quickly blew up. And so then when she was here, there was this guy in the audience, in the lobby, and he was just so funny. People who were coming to Houston came in early to see her. People came from all over the city to see her. There was this one guy, he's like, I just have to get my Allie fixed. She's just so good. And so she's amazing on guitar. She's a young artist that's really blowing up, and she's in July. Next slide. We have stage plays 3 to 4 times a year, adult theater as well as children's theater. We have 2 shows this summer. Last of the Red Hot Lovers is in July, and then we'll see a slide at the end of something that's happening in September. A tribute to Neil Diamond is in August. And Carolyn Wonderland, if you guys have not heard her, check her out on YouTube. She is a powerhouse, and I just booked her, just confirmed that booking this morning, and she'll be at the end of the summer. And Mike Zito in September. And this is the second stage play in September. I think we have a couple more slides. And then one more. Yes, and so also on the music end, we have Music on Main every second Friday of the month over on Main Street. The Texas Roadhouse Band will be this Friday, and Havana Food Truck will be there. And so that's starting in April, it's every month on the second Friday, so you guys can come and hang out. Yeah. All right, so that's really it that I have to talk about. I have giveaways for the Neal show and also the Allie Venable. So the first question for the first 4 tickets would be, does anybody know the year that the Bender, it was a school, right? So the Charles Bender High School. Does anybody know what year it was built? No. Well, it was before 36, so I'll say that. Okay, so after 25. Okay, you had some help, but okay. I can see you. You don't have 4 tickets to pick me up. Yeah. And then the next thing, our mayor actually graduated from Humboldt High School, and it was not Humboldt High School, this is the location, but does anybody competition with the Houston Chronicle to be the best of live theater, and I was like, there's no way we're competing against the Rhythm and all of these theaters downtown. We are in the top 5 of live theater based on votes. Yeah, so that's pretty amazing. So the second round of voting will start on the 17th of May, and we're hoping to get to the top, right? At least the top 2. Top 3. Oh, second round, okay. Got it. I got that. Well, voting starts May 17th. That's the thing that we need to know right now. But that's a pretty big deal that, right on Higgins, that we have one of the top 5 theaters in live theater. So I will say it's a bit cumbersome when you go to the site. You have to click a couple of times before you get there, but you can vote once a day. And so if you guys could vote for the theater, best of best.
And if you have not been to one of the performances, go. I know Daryl and I go, we enjoy it, and it's a lot of fun. I've seen both of these performances. Don't give us to this live comedy. From the city, Jason Stewart, and he's going to give us a great economic development.
No, real quick. So everybody's been talking about these light and fun things going on, and it's great. It's fantastic, right? And normally I try to bring the same thing to you guys when I give economic development updates and tell you what else is going on in the city. But before I get too much into that, I do want to get serious here for a second and just hit one particular issue kind of head on, because it's something that the entire region is really struggling with right now, and it's crime. It used to be that we, up here in the northeast part of Harris County, we were a little bit isolated from what went on in the city of Houston and elsewhere. But it's 2022, the world has grown smaller, and it's here. But that being said, I do want everybody to kind of want that over the last year, our crime statistics are actually looking pretty good, especially in regards to major crimes. We're down pretty much across all categories except 1 or 2 that saw slight upticks. But we're, of course, dealing with the current pandemic's not the right word to use, especially given the last 2 years, but this growing issue of catalytic converter thefts. And we are doing everything we can to combat that. Recently, we implemented a new ordinance that requires new security cameras in certain types of businesses to help us and assist us in catching criminals. And actually, it's because of some cameras that we didn't have, that a private business had, that we were able to catch some bad guys. And so we took a look at that. The city of Houston also did something very similar to what we did at the last meeting as well. And so that's one thing that we have implemented. Tonight, we're going to be considering a catalytic converter ordinance very similar to the city of Houston. Actually going one step further, they started out by placing heavy restrictions on the resale of catalytic converters and requiring basically what amounts to registration. And every time a catalytic converter is resold or purchased by a junk dealer or a metals dealer, police department. We're taking it a step further, and essentially tonight, pending council approval and at the direction of the mayor, if you are caught with a catalytic converter that hasn't been unbolted or isn't already attached to the rest of the exhaust system, that's illegal now in the city of Humboldt, effective probably about 10 days. And so that's just adding a tool into the box for our officers, where they see something, they can now do something. Because we've got to get our hands wrapped around this situation. It's completely getting out of control. here specifically in Harris County. And it's something that, like I said, we take it very seriously. There's not a day that has gone by, I don't think, in the last 6 months that either the mayor has come into my office or I've gone to his office or Ken Tice, our chief of police, and I have gotten together and tried to figure out what do we have to do more. And so we are giving them every tool that we can, every penny that we can. We're looking at new schedules. We're realigning shifts. I'm moving command structure around with Ken, and we are tackling it as best we can. So that's one thing that I want everybody to know about, that we work on this on a near daily basis right now, and we're starting to turn the corner, and we're starting to fight back and win. So with that out of the way, I'll talk about some of the happier things going on. Economically, we're doing very well. We're up. And for those of you that either were at the State of Lake Houston lunch here a couple of weeks ago or the Economic Development Annual Lunch a week ago, it's me again, I'm sorry. I still have the same thing to report. But we're up right now, and that's a good thing. We're up about 19% on sales tax revenue. That's kind of how we measure how we're doing economically as a city, and how the businesses are doing and how they are recovering. And so it's going pretty well. On the flip side of that, as everybody in this room well knows, everything's also a heck of a lot more expensive. And we're trying to keep up with that. That also impacts, my revenues on the sales tax side, which composes about 45% of our total general fund, are up significantly. My costs are up. Construction costs right now, we've got two major projects that we're looking to kick off later this year. The first being the construction of Fire Station number 2, which will be located just down on Houston Avenue. We're relocating that around the Civic Center. And then next door to that, we'll have a new senior activity center. Both of those, just from a construction standpoint, we're about 90% complete on the plans for the fire station, and we just completed the programming phase for the senior activity center. So both of those projects are going to be bid out by later this fall. But we're now looking at construction costs upwards of $450 to $560 a square foot. A year and a half ago, it was about $280. It's incredible. It's costing us a lot. It's causing me to lose a lot of sleep and go gray a little bit earlier. But we're managing it, as best we can. Last update I have really is going to be something relatively benign insider baseball. We had a charter election last Saturday, along with the school district had their bond election. We had 3 council seats up. All the incumbents won those. 2 of those were unopposed. But we also had a charter election. It was the first time in 20 plus years that we had gone back to the voters with a question in regards to their quote unquote the Constitution of the city, our founding document, what guides us and what lays down our rules and regulations of which we operate, and what the code of ordinances gets drawn off of, and those have all passed. I think there was A through I on propositions. All those passed overwhelmingly with roughly 80% approval. And just to tell you, without getting into nitty-gritty detail, nothing major is changing. It's pretty much going to continue operating the same way that we always have operated over the last couple of years. But we're bringing the document. We brought the document up to date, into modernity, as I like to say. And now, we're operating in accordance with our founding document. So that was a big deal for us to get that done. And going forward, we included provisions in there that we're going to continually, instead of waiting 20 and 30 years to update that, we're now going to commit ourselves to updating that every 10 years going forward as business operations change, as technology changes, so that we can keep up with that headed into the future. So that was a pretty big deal for us as well. But that's pretty much it for us. I'm sorry to start everything on a down note, but I hope I ended up pretty positively. So. Oh, I'm sorry, the cemetery. Real quick, Jennifer mentioned the museum. We're still big on history. We actually just started a project in partnership with the local chapter of the DAR. We went in with them and got a national grant, some matching funds. They're coming in and doing the first phase of resetting a lot of the older headstones that were broken or had started falling by the wayside. And so if you drive by the cemetery over the next couple of weeks, you'll see some folks out there working, resetting those headstones. Once they've moved out, then my parks guys are going to be moving in and re-leveling all of the dirt. So we're and resodding. So that's a big thing, because that's a big part of our history. A lot of people care about that tract of land there. And it houses so much history, and Dr. Moe can go on and on and on about it for you sometime if you ask him. Please have about an hour to spare. But but that's a big thing. We're proud to be a part of that. We're happy to work with the DAR on that, and thank you for that.
Thank you, Jason. So many things happening here in Humble, and it's all exciting. So I'm watching the time, and we are okay. All right, so it's getting time for class change outside, so we're going to stay in here for a few more minutes. So that'll give us a little bit of time for some questions at the end. But right now, I'd like to introduce to you, most of you probably have not met Kyle yet, but Kyle Sheldon, and he is the new Executive Vice President of Partnership Lake Houston. So he's going to give us a little info. I don't know what he's going to say. Let's see.
Thank you, ma'am. Well, I think first of all, I need to see if Jason's available to be my future fashion consultant. I'm slightly jealous of his wardrobe. Yes, my name is Kyle Sheldon. I'm the new EVP at Partnership Lake Houston. I don't come from the chamber or economic development space, so this is a new adventure for me and our family, but we are Kingwood homegrown. Both my wife and I grew up here, went to HISD schools all the way through until, I guess, my sophomore year. I actually transferred and graduated from NCA back then, which was Northeast Christian Academy, now Covenant Preparatory School. So this is super exciting for us to be able to get engaged and really get involved more with the community, being part of my job now. So I'm really looking forward to the relationships I'm getting to build with a lot of you that are already here, some of you I've already met, and then the ones that I haven't had the opportunity yet to meet with. But we're really excited too to take the chamber, I don't want to say in a new direction, but really get back to focusing on the small businesses, getting more involved with the community, seeing what kind of things we can do to get full engagement from families and all of that, because that's also a very key part of the business. It's always more than just the actual daily operations. So that's really all I just kind of wanted to come up and say. I look forward to meeting those that I haven't yet, and I don't know what our timeline is for food, but I'm going to turn it back to Scott.
I'm going to watch for a wave or something from you. If you'll just let us know when we can dismiss or how long we need to stay in here. I want to give a final thank you to our sponsors, our co-presenting sponsors, Memorial Herman Northeast, Rosewood Funeral Home, gold sponsors, Chick-fil-A, Wilson and Beltway 8, Whataburger, and our civil sponsor, MCAR. I'm going to give you a few little announcements here, and then I think we have time for a few questions if you have some of our speakers today. On Tuesday, May 17th, the State of Healthcare Luncheon, presented by HCA Houston Healthcare, Kingwood, and Memorial Herman Northeast, and it will be at Kingwood Country Club. It begins at 11:30, so if you have not made your reservations, please do so. Then our next networking after hours is going to be hosted by Polomsky Team. Sorry, I don't know Polomsky Team yet, so if you're here, please let me know what you are doing. So, the Polomsky Team. Realtors, okay. It doesn't tell me who they're with, so, okay. Then that is on Thursday, May 19th, 4:30, and it's going to be at the Atascocita Golf Club. So you can register online, or if you have to, give Shannon a call and If you're lazy like me, that's what I do half the time. Sorry, I do that. So thank you all for being here. Now, we got, wait 5 more minutes? Okay. All right, so we've got 5 minutes to have questions. You might have questions for any of our speakers. Okay? If you'll stand so we can hear you. And speak loudly.
So my name is Neal. I live off of Westwood, Houston, near the Lone Star Community College there. If I wanted my student or my child to go to either Humboldt High School or the other one in Caius, can they? Because right now I believe they're zoned for summer camp. How would we go about doing that? The school district?
Yeah, you have to get, it's a process.
But there is a process.
It's not an audit.
Right, I'm not assuming that just
Yeah,
because I want them to.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have a question? Jess?
So, are you banning, this for the mayor or for Jason, are y'all banning catalytic converters that are used, that are detached from a vehicle? Or are you banning all detached catalytic converters?
Essentially, so I think the way that the ordinance is written is if it's removed by any other means than unbolting or removed with the balance of the exhaust system, i.e. the only other way you can get a catalytic converter off is to cut it,
Right.
then yes, that it is prohibited to have a cut off catalytic converter.
So similar to what Houston has.
Very similar to what Houston passed, we just went one step further. They stopped before doing that. They wanted to do that, they didn't pull the trigger on that.
And you feel comfortable that that will not unintentionally make criminals in any auto shops that might be working with used or salvaged vehicles?
Should not, because again, auto shops typically will unbolt and they don't have a need to cut it.
Okay, another question? Yes, sir.
But I have a question. Have you also gone to the community like the HPD did as far as getting high inking and painting those catalytic converters as well as etching the last 4-year VIN number? And
Yeah, we're encouraging people to do that, especially, and they can, I know that the exhaust, the shops can install, shields. Now, there's nothing that can ever really prevent someone, if they want to work at it, they're going to get it if they want it. But typically what we're finding is if you make them work at it, they tend to bypass it, because they're looking to get in under 30 seconds, have that thing locked off and get out. But yes, having a bit etched into it or painted and market, yes.
my mechanics also let me know.
Yes.
They don't necessarily stay in that.
Yes. Yeah. And also just a public service announcement. This is a new breed of criminal that we're dealing with right now. So if you happen to walk out into the parking lot or into your driveway and you see someone underneath your car, leave them be. It's not worth your life. Okay. And that's a conversation that we're having to have a lot.
Anybody else have a question? Yes, ma'am.
My question is actually for Jennifer Clara. And I'm in business, whatever you're speaking, but is your partnerships primarily with commercial companies, or do you all ship residential too? Can you go on and order your product?
We are not in the distribution business, so we're partnering with local distributors, we're partnering with foods and.
For months. He says, once the county owns the land, they'll be a lot more intrusive.
So, fortunately, we're not set up to have, that type of, walk-in business. But look for us at the stores.
I was going to ask you a question.
Sure.
I was just curious. I think it's absolutely fascinating. So, how long does it take to grow a head of lettuce once you pluck it so that you can set it out?
Right, it takes 6 weeks. So once it's seeded, they put they have trays. The trays are put in a wrap, and it's wrapped in plastic wrap, and put in a humidifier, which allows a very strong germination for 24 hours. And then they move those trays to what we call the nursery. It's kind of like Jurassic Park, go to the nursery, and they stay there for 10 days, and the plants will be about this big. Then they go to a transplanting machine These little fingers go down, transplanted into bigger trays, and then they're put on the vertical racks for 4 more weeks. So it's a total process of 6 weeks. But the cool thing about it is that because it's a contained environment, we're able to harvest up to 12 times more than, traditional farming. You've got, rain and drought and all kinds of issues. So it's a continuous crop there, growing less 300. Right now, that's all we're doing at Houston Farm. Now with some of the mergers, they've got the ability to, we're working on integrating some of the other varieties. It's not so easy to just to add another variety because it's such a scientific contained recipe that they use. So like we're going to get into microgreens, but the microgreens, they're growing in soil, and the soil cannot come in touch with lettuces. So, it's a process, but it's incredible what is happening in our beach so far. Necessity. Calera doesn't right now, but like I said, we're working on it. There are other, tomatoes, they need longer, they've got a longer line, so they need more space, and, it's different for each type of produce. So, we're getting better. Strawberries, what's that? Again, I want to thank everybody for being here, and, be on the lookout for the other Bizcoms. You're welcome to come to Bizcom. We have, there is other be sure and come to all the other events that are happening. Look on the calendar online, find out what's going on, what you're interested in. And when you leave here today, you pick up a lunch, and go out. And today, you may want to stay here and meet a little bit. I still hear noise outside the door there. So if you want to do a little bit of networking, meeting somebody you don't know, passing out your business cards. So, thank you again.